One of the job offers we received concerns me. There's a PF commander who's been talking big about getting into the nuclear arms trade. This could be connected to that yellow cake. And there's another contract I'd like you to handle. It's a wet job, but we need to divert Cypher's attention. Check the mission list for the details. Angola's Mfinda oil field, upstream from the landing point. A spill has covered the whole area and crude. A pipeline that crosses the Muneni River failed, and now the shore's a mess. Not to mention the villages downstream have no drinking water. To the pipeline from that facility. Taking it out should end the leak. The client this time is an environmental NGO. Destroy the facility. Stop that leak. This may seem like straight-up philanthropy, but there's another reason we agreed to it. The Mfinda oil field was outdated, abandoned. Then the rebel group United moved in, taking it upon themselves to kickstart operations. United's been rapidly modernizing its arsenal. Rumor has it someone's been selling them U.S. military hardware. The intel's analysis suggests the brokers are front company, Cyphers, keeping tabs on United to tell us who's pulling its strings.
There, one. Back again, redoing another mission. This time, though, actually recording. Since, as I've said before, I recorded and did a lot of missions off-screen. So, there's really no harm in redoing them. I definitely perform better, which I definitely did in this one. Ugh. Hindsight. Yucky.
That's step one to tracking down Skullface. And Cypher with him. Good luck, boss. First, make your way to the oil facility. It's to the north, past Kuala Yamasa. The village is currently occupied by United, so stay sharp.
I actually get kind of turned around out here in this area.
The street we started has taken a pretty crooked course these past 9 years. With no other options, soldiers have become dogs of war, sent to conflict zones as private forces, or PFs. Guys we fought alongside are dying all around the globe for no reason, no banner. But it's how they survive. The demand for PFs here in Africa is especially high. Cold War standoffs, resource exploitation, tribal clashes. What's big business for developed countries has only brought conflict here. That mess you're standing in is just the latest example.
Yeah, so this village is, this mission, as Miller said, is we're going into Africa to find out exactly what it is Cypher and Skullface are up to out here.
We've arrived at Masa Village. It's been turned into a supply hub for United, meaning it'll be stocked with weapons and resources. Should be a thing or two that'll come in handy. Don't be shy. They deserve to be in better hands.
So this village isn't really part of the mission. I spent way too long here because I was looking for one of the side objectives. And ultimately it's not important, so I just skip it. Oh, so you can tell how far ahead I actually am at this point because I have Quiet with me, which I think happened after I did this mission for the first time. There was a side op on Mother Base that involved going to Quiet's cell and talking to Ocelot about this or that, and it eventually leads to you being able to use Quiet on missions. So that's cool. But yeah, there's not much going on in this village. There's just a lot of, I'll try to be stealthy, and then I end up getting spotted anyway. So, and I just shoot up the whole town because that's what I do. That's how I play this game. I stay quiet until I get spotted, and then I just murder everything in sight. And it's a lot of fun, honestly. As I am now, my guns are even more advanced, and it's a ton of fun. I've finally been able to get a more advanced suppressors, which is good. Because a lot of these suppressors that I have are, you know, they run out too quickly. So I'm happy that I finally have more than one. It took a long time. And a lot of GMP. Seriously, this game requires a lot of money to do almost anything. It's quite hilarious. I actually almost ran out of money doing side ops. See? I should have seen that coming. Ah well. What can you do? And then we just skip to night, where I finally completed a village and I'm taking off. Headed towards... Oh yeah, I thought that was an outpost. I forgot that that's actually just a burned out village that used to be there.
You've made it past the village. Continue heading for the oil facility. It's located...
So there's actually no enemies over there, right? Oh no, it is an outpost.
Enemy presence detected. The map has been updated.
Huh. I thought it was a village. Maybe.
Extraction.
But yeah, it's just an outpost. Not much going on there.
of Saner, South African Natural Resources. Saner drills oil wells wherever they can throughout that region. And when the oil dries up, they abandon the facility. Then it's only a matter of time before the aging equipment starts leaking crude. That means United's takeover is the perfect cover for Saner. Now they can blame the spill on a bunch of oil thieves. However you look at it, Saner's far from squeaky clean.
Saner is also far from being sane.
There it is, the oil facility. To stop the leak, you need to shut down the oil transfer pump and destroy the oily water separator tank. The details are on your iDroid.
Okay, so this mission is to infiltrate the oil facility and do as Kaz said. And when I first did it, I blew up the separator first, and then I messed with the water purifier, whatever it is, in the office. This time, I do it the other way around, because when you blow up the separator, it causes all the enemies to become very aware that you're there, and the walker gears move in. When I first did the mission, seriously, it was just a mess. I got spotted all over the place. I ended up having to complete the mission, like being, you know, detected, or whatever the word is. Like, just running around and doing all the objectives and killing people and stuff. Which, I mean, it's alright. It's just I would rather try to do it without getting spotted, which is what this whole run is. It's just me being very, very quiet.
Complete.
Also, I think I'll take this time to mention something weird.
Enemy
There have been a few times where I do a mission,
has been updated.
and I scan someone, and they have an S rank. I stun them, I send them back to base. Kaz says, you know, we got them. And then, when I see the list of people that are joining the staff, none of them are S. I look in all of the places, all the staffs, my brig, everything. There's no S people. And I know that I pulled in at least 4 S guys. 4 or 5. Including, some of them were even from side ops, from prisoner extractions and stuff. I don't, like, am I doing something wrong? Are they not counting because of something? I finally started getting A++ people for real, but still no S's. It's very strange. Ah well. Anyway, I really love using night vision. I would prefer thermal though, specifically to be able to see the enemies better, but whatever, night vision's fine. This is also a bit confusing because of the way that this facility is set up. There's a lot of walkways and stuff. And the walkway that leads to the office, where I have to shut off the switch, is in a pretty odd location. So like it was a bit of me stumbling around the walkways and being like, did I have to go down and up somewhere else? Was it over here? It ended up being not too confusing. It's just, I forget. It's like when I see the objectives above me, I figure I have to go as high up as I can, and then I wind up on the building across from where I have to be.
He's coming too. Roger that.
I Fulton so many things that I sometimes go into the red after a mission quite a lot, so I actually don't walk away with any additional GMP from completing a story mission. But how can you resist Fultoning in all the containers and the weapons that you see? I mean, heck, you can just sell them later anyway. Who saw me? Oh yeah, that guy.
Analysis complete.
And he's coming over here. I think the really hilarious ones are the guys who see you, but because of the way that the facility they're in is set up, they have to run around like this gigantic section. I did a mission where some dude on the second level of the base saw me, so he had to run down the stairs and run along the outside fence to get to where he thought he saw me. It was quite hilarious watching him run the whole way. I only realized, like, in the middle of missions that I have the wrong buddy. There have been some times where I'm like, Quiet would be really good for this mission, or D-Dog would be really good for this mission. I always forget, since I'm going in so quietly, I really don't need Quiet. I probably should have brought D-Dog instead, to see who everyone was ahead of time. But I still do pretty well, regardless. And I guess Quiet's good to have around just in case everything goes wrong. Although I did this mission before I got her cease cover command, which I have now, and holy shit, it is way more broken than I thought it would be. I told her to cover me, just, you know, just in case, and next thing I know, she's murdering everyone in sight. All the dudes. It was during a extract the highly skilled soldier side op. So I'm like, stop killing these guys, I might need them. So I told her to stop, and I eventually found... No, it wasn't during that. It was just, I just didn't expect her to do it. But it was during an extract a highly skilled soldier mission that I was taking a long time to clear out the facility. It was actually this same facility. And the last enemy left was the guy I needed to extract. He spotted me, so Quiet killed him. So all that time I put into the mission didn't matter. Very hilarious in hindsight. It's like, oh, I finally got the dude, and I got spotted, and he's dead. They gave the mission back to me right away, though, so I'll do it again later, I suppose. And I made it. There we go. This is where the switch is, or whatever it is. Kaz will mention it.
There's the transfer pump control room. The emergency stop button is probably inside it.
Click. That's disgusting.
Mission info.
Oil transfer pump shutoff confirmed.
Extraction.
Next, destroy the oily water separator tank. That'll ensure they can never use the facility.
Stop telling me what to do. So yeah, part 1 done. Now to get to the tank over there. Kaz mentions that you might need C4 to blow it up, but a grenade does the job just as well. And I'd like to think that if you don't have a grenade or anything, just shooting it a bunch will set it off. But if not, I don't think a supply drop for some grenades costs a lot. I did end up developing C4s after I completed this mission the first time. It's nasty.
The remaining target is in the oily water separator tank. Destroy it.
Also, because I haven't been in Africa as long as Afghanistan, there are not as many helicopter zones around, so it kind of pisses me off at how long I need to, how far away I would have to go to get to a helicopter spot. Because the only other thing to do would be to clear out this entire facility, take everyone out, and then call the helicopter in here.
Analysis complete. Analysis
That's way too
complete.
much work, and I didn't actually want to do that. Yeah. I was like, what? Is that guy running over here? Why is he running over here? You know, for having suppressed bullets, it's like they can hear them anyway.
You have arrived.
Like, I mean, I guess it's not the gunfire they hear, but like the bullet just sailing through the air. It's really annoying, though. So here we are at the tank that I need to go pop. And it goes pop. And as always, I throw 2 just in case. Uh-oh. When that first happened, I thought I died. Like when I first blew up the tank.
Separator tank. Objectives complete. No security will be tighter after that explosion. Get out of there ASAP.
Yeah, so cool. But seriously, I honestly thought I died because I actually stepped inside the separator tank and it blew up while I was in there. It didn't kill me, but it really looked like it because the weird camera angle and everything. But then it cut to that cutscene and I'm like, is this some kind of like over elaborate game over?
Subject
Nah.
report. Leave the rest to us.
It really felt like it. Here comes this asshole. And there he goes. I was debating taking him out or not, but I just wanted to leave. I have died because of fall damage before, so I'm very careful over how high some ledges are. I wish there was a way to tell, like, that there was an upgrade that could tell you if this drop was safe or not. Like, I don't know, like, if you're hanging over a ledge and you select the option to drop, like the little character should be in red to tell you that if you drop you'll die. I don't know, I think that would be very handy for a bunch of tense situations. Especially if I need to get away from dudes shooting me, I jump over a ledge and I fall and die. And I have to redo the whole thing.
Analysis complete.
At this point, I was pretty much in the clear. There's a car. My car's right there. Oh, never mind. There's a
Walker gears. What are they doing?
walker gear right next to my car. But yeah, it just goes over there and stays over there. So I could have just gotten in the car and left. But me being as greedy as I am, I wanted the walker gears.
Analysis complete.
So just shoot him, he'll fall asleep eventually, and I could jack his walker gear. I figured since this is the last thing I'm gonna do, it doesn't matter how many bullets I waste. And neither of the walker gear pilots are particularly skilled. As of now, almost all of my units are already at a, like, almost everyone in my unit are at least A. There are a few exceptions where there's like a B person or two. But beyond that, my people are really skilled, and it's great. And I was like, where can the helicopter pick me up? And I'm like, holy shit. So I was like, I'm clearly not going to be doing this. I might as well just drive out of the hot zone. It's not that big of a hot zone anyway. It's a nice fancy K-turn. And, or whatever, and get out of here.
Extraction arrived at Mother Base.
Yeah, the walker gears and everything. So yay, I'm free. I think I keep checking the map to just make sure that I'm out. Yeah, there it is. Not too far away. Freedom! But yeah, as you can see, that was a pretty smooth run. Was I ever in reflex mode? Yeah, I was in the village prior. But not for the facility. The oil facility was well done. You know, not to pat myself on the back, but it really was.
Exfiltrated.
Alright, you're out of the hot zone. No enemy forces in pursuit. Mission complete.
And yay, Donzo!
Mission complete, boss.
That's right, it was boss. I got a B rank for that. Did really well. Well, aside from this mission, I think all that's here is Kaz's closing briefing and some cassette tapes that I just play. Like, I don't know. I would think they're interesting, so other people probably think they're interesting too, so I just leave them in. Why not? They're about some materials picked up in later missions, namely some yellow cake and what's the other thing? Malachite, I think it was. It'll make sense. I redid that mission too, so it should be coming soon. Anyway, yay!
Boss, we took another look into Saner, the owner of the oil field. They were behind what happened. They hired the PF, not United. They restarted the facility all the while pretending they were the victims. One other thing. Saner's Johannesburg head office is just a room in a multi-tenant building. Company's essentially non-existent. 3 years ago, that investment fund stepped in and started gutting it through a series of mergers and sell-offs. And get this, the fund itself no longer exists either. It's a shell corporation, meaning someone is just using Saner's name from the shadows. But what about those strange corpses? Just what the hell were they doing over there?
Boss, sorry to keep you waiting. We finally finished analyzing that yellow cake Cypher was moving. There was nothing unusual about the composition of the yellow cake itself. Most of it was oxidized uranium, with the rest being impurities, various metals as well as traces of organic matter. What's interesting is the composition of these impurities. When we checked them against the impurities found in the copper ore, it was clear the yellow cake didn't come from Shinkolobwe, meaning they went to the trouble of mining 2 sources of uranium, then transported them together in different states. Another thing, we detected a very thin layer of highly enriched uranium in the middle of the yellow cake. Now that is very interesting. It may not be a lot, but it points to the existence of uranium-enriching technology. After all, yellow cake can't naturally produce highly enriched uranium. If they could mass produce this, they'd be just one step away from a gun barrel type nuclear bomb. But uranium enrichment requires advanced technology and a large-scale facility. If that kind of place existed in Zaire, the Soviet Union wouldn't sit idly by. And there's another question. Where were they transporting the yellow cake and malachite uranium? The first place that comes to mind is South Africa. The government was supposed to have abandoned nuclear weapons development after caving to international pressure. But rumors persist that it's continued in secret. Plus, CRS were escorting the truck, and they're based out of South Africa. And then South Africa does have an abandoned test site. If Cypher's involved with nuclear development in South Africa. But how would that fit with their weapon to surpass Metal Gear? We need more information.
Shinkolobwe. There's a name I haven't heard in a while.
The U.S. bought a lot of uranium from Shinkolobwe mine during World War II for the Manhattan Project. They even sent a squad from the Army Corps of Engineers to reopen the mine after it was flooded. That's how good its uranium must have been. With that, the world's first nuclear test was a success. Shinkolobwe uranium might have been used in the Hiroshima and Nagasaki bombs too. Just hearing its name is like seeing all the phantoms of the war rise up to haunt us. But all the uranium's dried up, and the mine's been closed for years.
So someone reopened it.
Right. Zero-risk security seized control of the area and were forcing locals to work in it. And the Zairean government was getting a slice of what they took in exchange for looking the other way. Mobutu has to finance his tastes somehow. He'll gladly sell the rights to some old mine. The question is, why would zero-risk security do this kind of thing?
Or rather, why were their employers, Cypher, interested in an abandoned mine? They'd be getting trace amounts of uranium, yet to the naked eye it appears to be ordinary malachite, meaning security would be lax. Not a very efficient way of obtaining it, but easier to move.
But how would they enrich it at its destination?
Did the yellow cake really have a layer of highly enriched uranium in it?
Having trouble believing it?
No. If they say it's real, then it's real. In which case, they might have some enrichment method that we don't know about.
And this was to test it out?
It's possible. And that would mean it's almost complete.
Rogue Coyote operates mainly out of Africa these days. Of the 3 PFs, they're the smallest. However, they scooped up most of the Rhodesian SAS after the country collapsed 4 years ago. Picture their entire organization as one big special forces unit. With Rhodesia a British colony, the Rhodesian SAS had its origins in 22 SAS Sea Squadron. They started out as a group known as the Southern Rhodesia Volunteers. But in '51 they were incorporated into 22 SAS as members of the British Commonwealth and deployed to fight guerrillas in the Malayan emergency. Even now, 22 SAS keeps the Sea Squadron designation empty in recognition of their service. In a way, you could say the SAS almost makes up the core of Rogue Coyote. Later on, they were bolstered by other talent, including former Celis Scouts and 32 Battalion. These guys are direct descendants of the best special forces in the world. They won't go down without a fight. Don't get careless. Kunganga Mine. A civil war's been going on in that region for the last 20 years. It's being fought by what are now 2 ethnic groups, the Buta and the Mbele. Originally, you could barely tell them apart, but the reason for the current armed conflict goes back to World War I. After the war, their land was colonized by a European power, and it decided to give local control to the Buta. That split the 2 groups into rulers and subjects, laying the foundations for an inevitable civil war. The friction between them remained even after they won independence from Europe. The Buta are holding on to power to this day, and the Mbele rebels continue to fight back. The conflict is funded by locally mined gold, rare metals, diamonds. They've used the money from those to arm themselves, buy oil, and even hire PFs. The Buta administration owns the mining rights to Kunganga Mine. But most of the laborers are Mbele, who they've taken prisoner. The product they've gouged out of their land is bought up by cheap Western corporations. And the civil war is fueled by the profits. That's how it goes. One country's people is split apart by another country. Then the 2 groups tear up their own land for money in order to fight each other. Now this civil war started by a foreign power is the norm, and it's sucking up all the country's resources. PFs are just the same. They follow the money, taking war with them wherever they go. That goes for us too. It's an endless river of bloody retaliation, and we're standing downstream. Should we make a stand and staunch the flow? Or wade in amongst the corpses and make a bigger splash than the rest? We'll follow your lead, boss.
Please select a mission.